Last week, Financial Rookie made his first budget. It was a beautiful document, organized, hopeful, ambitious. It had categories, percentages, rules. It also had absolutely no power over Rookie's actual behavior. By day 3, the budget had already been attacked by snacks, delivery apps, and a sale that Rookie described as financially unavoidable. But despite the chaos, Rookie had learned something important. Spending less was useful. Saving money was smart. And once you had savings, apparently the next step was investing. Now, to experienced investors, that sounds normal. To Financial Rookie, it sounded like magic. Because from what Rookie understood, investing was simple. You buy something, wait, and then, somehow, money has children. This explanation was not technically correct, but it was emotionally accurate enough for Rookie to proceed. And that was the beginning of a very stressful week. Financial Rookie had discovered a dangerous sentence: make your money work for you. Now, Rookie loved this idea immediately, mostly because Rookie was tired of working for money himself. If money could work instead, that sounded like an outstanding arrangement. So he entered the world of investing with the confidence of a man who had watched 2 videos, read 3 comments, and misunderstood both. By the end of the day, Rookie believed he was one smart decision away from becoming the kind of person who casually says things like, "I'm long-term bullish." He did not know what bullish meant. He just knew rich people said it with confidence. And Rookie was about to learn a painful lesson. There is a very big difference between wanting to invest and understanding what you are investing in. Rookie began his investing journey the way many beginners do. Not with research, not with a plan, not with an understanding of risk. No. Rookie began with vibes. He opened an investing app and was immediately greeted by a sea of charts, numbers, percentages, arrows, and words like portfolio, volatility, and dividend yield. To a normal investor, this might look informative. To Rookie, it looked like a medical monitor for rich people. There were green numbers, red numbers, tiny graphs going up, tiny graphs going down, and enough financial jargon to make a dictionary ask for clarification. But Rookie wasn't discouraged, because in his mind, investing wasn't about understanding everything. It was about picking the thing that looked like it might make him rich before lunch. So he developed a strategy. A terrible strategy, but a strategy. Rookie's investment criteria were surprisingly advanced. Step 1, does the company name sound powerful? Step 2, is the logo attractive? Step 3, have random strangers on the internet used phrases like, "this thing is going to the moon"? If the answer to any of those questions was yes, Rookie considered it serious financial analysis. At one point, he became deeply interested in a stock mostly because the logo had a lion on it. And lions, as Rookie correctly observed, are confident animals. This is not traditionally how asset valuation works. But Rookie was innovating. Then he found an online post from someone with a profile picture of a sports car, sunglasses, and absolutely no visible signs of regulation. The post said, "This stock is about to explode." Now experienced investors hear a sentence like that and ask questions. Rookie heard it and interpreted it as insider wisdom from a digital prophet. So naturally, he bought. And for about 11 minutes. Rookie was a genius. The stock went up. Not by much, but enough. Enough for Rookie to stare at his screen like he had personally solved capitalism. He refreshed the app every 30 seconds. The number went up again. Rookie sat up straighter. Another tiny increase. At this point, Rookie was no longer a beginner investor. In his mind, he was a market legend, a financial prodigy, a man whose autobiography would eventually include the phrase, "He saw what others couldn't." Then, the stock dropped. Just a little at first, then a little more, then enough for Rookie to stop breathing normally. He refreshed the app again. Down. Again. Down. Again. Still down. Rookie stared at the screen with the intensity of a man trying to reverse a financial outcome through eye contact. He went from "I may be Warren Buffett" to "I may need emotional support" in under 6 minutes. Now here's the thing about Rookie. Rookie did not understand investing yet. But Rookie did understand one very powerful emotion: panic. And panic, unfortunately, is one of the loudest voices in personal finance. As the stock kept moving around, Rookie's brain began producing extremely helpful thoughts like, what if this is the beginning of total collapse? What if the company disappears by dinner? What if I lose everything and have to explain to people that my financial downfall began because I trusted a man named Crypto King 420? So Rookie did what many beginners do when they confuse movement with danger. He sold immediately, urgently, with the speed of a man escaping a burning building. And the moment he sold, the stock started going back up. Of course it did, because the market, like life, occasionally enjoys comedy. Rookie watched in silence as the line recovered without him. It was one of the most educationally painful moments of his week. Now Rookie had a new problem. He wasn't just losing confidence, he was losing dignity. Because not only had he sold too early, he had sold at the exact moment of maximum fear, which meant he had turned a temporary drop into a real loss. And somehow, that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was what happened next. Rookie decided he needed to win it back. Those 4 words have ruined many beautiful plans. Once Rookie entered win it back mode, the situation got dramatically worse. He started jumping between investments like a tourist trying to board moving buses. One stock looked exciting? Buy. Another stock was trending? Buy. Something on social media had rocket emojis? Obviously, buy. At this point, Rookie wasn't investing. He was speed dating financial regret. Every decision was emotional. Every move was reactive. Every chart felt personal. When prices rose, Rookie felt brilliant. When prices fell, Rookie felt betrayed. And by the end of the week, he had managed to turn investing into a full-time emotional cardio session. The money psychology insight. This is where the real lesson begins. Because investing is not just a numbers game. It's a psychology game. And one of the biggest beginner mistakes is assuming that discomfort means danger. It doesn't. Prices move. That's what markets do. Sometimes they rise for no reason you understand. Sometimes they fall for no reason you like. Sometimes they do both in the same afternoon, just to humble everyone involved. But beginners often make the same mistake Rookie made. They confuse volatility with failure. If the price goes down, they assume they made a bad decision. If the price goes up, they assume they're a genius. Neither is necessarily true. In the short term, markets are noisy, emotional, messy. But investing isn't supposed to be a minute-by-minute emotional hostage situation. It's supposed to be a long-term process built on patience, understanding, and a plan. Rookie didn't have a plan. He had adrenaline and Wi-Fi, which is not the same thing, a joke or relatable mistake. By the 3rd day, Rookie had developed a deeply scientific investing routine. Wake up, check the app, panic, refresh, feel hopeful, refresh again, lose hope, search. Is it normal for stocks to ruin your morning? Then came the rituals. If the stock went up, Rookie believed he had good instincts. If it went down, he blamed market manipulation, bad luck, or what he described as suspicious energy. At one point, Rookie considered buying a completely different company simply because its chart looked friendlier, as if the graph had a nice personality. He also briefly believed that holding his phone at a different angle might improve performance. This did not work, but it did make him look like a man trying to get better reception from the stock market. Eventually, Rookie did something radical. He stopped refreshing, stopped reacting, stopped pretending random internet comments counted as research, and for the first time, he asked a much better question, not, which investment will make me rich quickly, but, what am I actually buying and why? That question changed everything, because Rookie finally learned that investing is not supposed to feel like gambling with extra vocabulary. It's supposed to be ownership. You're putting money into something because you believe in its long-term value, not because the line moved in an exciting direction at 10:14 a.m., so Rookie took a step back and started again. This time, more slowly. He learned about diversification, which is a fancy way of saying, please do not place your entire emotional stability inside one stock. He learned about long-term investing, which is a fancy way of saying, stop checking every 12 minutes. He learned about risk tolerance, which is a fancy way of saying, if a normal market dip makes you feel like your life is collapsing, your strategy may need work. And slowly, painfully, Rookie began to understand the difference between investing and panicking in high definition. If you're starting to invest, Rookie would now recommend 3 things. First, do not invest in things you don't understand. If your main reason for buying something is someone online sounded confident, you are not investing. You are outsourcing your judgment to a stranger with a ring light. Second, decide your strategy before emotions show up. Will you invest for the long term? How often will you add money? What kind of investments fit your goals? Make those decisions while calm, not while staring at a red number like it personally insulted your family. Third, stop treating every market movement like breaking news. If you're investing for the future, you do not need to monitor your portfolio like a security guard on espresso. Check less, learn more, react slower. The goal is not to feel busy. The goal is to make better decisions. Rookie did not become a master investor overnight. He still had questions, still felt nervous, still occasionally looked at charts like they were emotionally unstable weather forecasts. But something had changed. He no longer believed investing was a shortcut. He understood that it was a skill, a slow one, a humbling one, a patience-heavy one. And for the first time, Rookie wasn't trying to get rich by Friday. He was trying to get smarter for the future, which, for Rookie, was real progress, slightly less exciting than becoming an overnight market genius, but significantly less likely to end in dramatic regret. So yes, Financial Rookie survived his first investing experience. Technically. Emotionally, there were losses. Psychologically, there were injuries. Financially, there were lessons. He entered the market expecting fast money, instant success, and maybe a heroic montage. What he got instead was volatility, confusion, and a very personal introduction to fear. But he also learned one of the most important lessons in personal finance. Making money is one skill. Keeping your emotions under control while trying to make money is a completely different skill. And unfortunately for Rookie, the financial curriculum was just getting started. Because next week, Financial Rookie gets a credit card, a small piece of plastic with enormous confidence. A tool designed for convenience, rewards, and financial flexibility, which means Rookie will almost certainly use it like a flamethrower. Can Financial Rookie handle a credit card responsibly? Or will he discover that buy now, pay later becomes much less exciting when later actually arrives? Subscribe before Financial Rookie mistakes available credit for free money. And we'll see you in the next mistake.